and Belt Home, and we're back in my fitting room again. Yesterday, my mom and I installed this. Took a couple hours to install this. It's like a tongue and groove, kind of a wall plank. One side's beadboard, one side's more planky. I wanted to stain this, but there's imprints of I guess wood stamps or what have you. I don't know what they need to do that in the wood industry. It's not, I don't do wood. So there's also some oil marker on here. So what I'm going to do is just take some stain blocking primer, and we are going to put that on these knot holes, because we're going to paint this and glaze it to look like stained wood. But I know that if I don't take care of these knot holes, they're going to come through later, and I'm not going to like the look later. So I want a little more uniform look on this. So I've got some stain blocking primer today. I'm using the Paint Couture Sure Prep white stain blocking primer. Make sure you do stir it really, really well, as it seems to settle a little bit. So shaking it doesn't quite mix it in as much as you would normally get like in a regular paint. So I'm just using a 2-inch inexpensive foam brush, and I'm just going to essentially just cover up all our knot holes. So that's all we're going to do. So let me go ahead and get these all done, and we'll move on to the next step. All of the knot holes are now completely covered with the Sure Prep stain blocking primer. So now we are going to let that dry just a little bit more. We are going to, there are a lot of, I got a little hacky with the nail gun. So I know that if I just go ahead and paint and do my glaze, everywhere there's a nail hole, we're going to see a little extra dot, a little bit darker dot, or what have you. And I don't want to have that will drive me crazy, because I wasn't very consistent. I just kind of nail. So I'm not your carpenter. So anyway, we're going to cover those up. We've got some just drywall mud already mixed up, and I'm just going to take some, a little bit on my finger, and all I'm doing is just smoothing it in to all the little holes, and I'm just going to wipe that back, because I really don't want to sand it off later. So I'm just going to continue doing that and fill all of my nail holes so I don't have anything glaring at me as I try to finish my project. So if I leave these as holes, they'll be really noticeable once I start doing the glazing, and it will be a bit of an annoyance and kind of disappointing. So you don't want to leave that exposed. So let's go ahead and fill the rest of these nail holes out. We've got all the putty holes, all the nail holes are now puttied up. I got a little crazy with the nail gun, but I wanted to make sure this wall stays on the wall. So what I'm going to do now is paint our base coat, which is French Putty by Paint Couture. This is going to give me my nice light base. So I want a lighter tone of wood look on my wall. Even though it's real wood, there were some flaws, so we do definitely have to paint it. So I didn't want to paint it solid. I didn't want it to be brown. I didn't want it to be just solid. So you'll see, we're going to go ahead and get this started. Let's get this going here. Let's see. Oh my goodness. And I'm trying really hard not to get this stuff all over me without taking everything out of the fitting room. I'm going to use my flat 2-inch blue ice brush, one of my favorite brushes of all time. So I'm just going to give it a little quick dab so you guys can see the color. So it's really close to the base color that we've got going on. So let's go ahead and get this all painted on, and I'm going to use my nifty edge here to get in these little crevices there, and then we're just going to go ahead and paint. We're going to do a simple base coat, so I'm not as concerned about super duper heavy coverage, because it'll cover really well, one, because it's Paint Couture and it's got really great coverage, but it doesn't have to be perfect, because we're going to be doing a glaze coat over this. So we're just going to go ahead and paint this up real fast. Not a big difference between the wood color, right? Our paint is nice and dry. Now we have already started with the Van Dyke Brown Glaze. So let me show you how we are tackling that. So I've got my Paint Couture Van Dyke Brown Glaze right here. And I am going to just put some of this on my chip brush, and I am going to go all the way across. And I'm going to get these little grooves here and just make sure and get those painted in. And you can kind of jam it in there best you can and get it all the way down. I'm not really as concerned with the edges here because we are going to do some trimming out as well. But let me get some more of this loaded on my brush. Let's set that down. And I am just going to work this as, I'm going to try to work it, this bit, all the way out, because if I'm going to be wiping this off, so I don't want to waste so much of my glaze because it's going to get all wiped away. So let me get this all on there, and I have little divots in the wood, so go ahead and get that in, because that's where some of this glaze will settle in. And I'm just going to get it on there willy-nilly and just get it all covered, all these edges. We have like a, here we go. So get all those edges all the way down. We're going to go work this all the way down as well. So we're going to get a little bit of a workout. I'm going to get that paint or that glaze all the way to the end. So I don't need to have a really thick coat of glaze on. Get that nice and on there. And it's the same thing with your furniture. You don't need to glop it on. Sometimes I do, just because I'm being a little lazy and I want to go kind of fast. So I'll just kind of throw it on and then wipe it off. But you can take your time and get your glaze, a nice thin layer of glaze on there. So it doesn't dry super quick. But of course I have a fan on right now, so it will dry a little bit faster than normal. If you have a nice humid day, those will help the drying process slow down a bit. So I've got a rag I've been using already, and I'm just kind of getting a nice clean spot. There is literally nothing clean about this, but I'm going to go ahead and start with my groove and go all the way down, and I'm going to come back right there. I'm going to do that on the bottom as well. Okay, and then now let me get my rag situated again, and we're going to start, I'm going to start down here and go all the way across. And I kind of want to stay straight, so let's do the straightest as possible we can do. All right, there we go. And I like that I'm getting a little bit of the grain coming through, so it's helping that wood look. So you see a little bit of grainage where that glaze has settled in, so that's a really cool effect. I like that a lot. So we're gonna leave that there. So we're gonna kind of, we can keep wiping it where it's a little cleaner, but I like this slightly darker piece. Wood absorbs stains a little bit differently, so just like your skin, there's like always dry spots, there's more oily spots. So your skin soaks up product, let's say lotion, differently at a different rate. Like some will go a little bit faster or absorb it faster, some won't. So same thing with stains. Typically some stains, you know, on your piece of wood, it can all be like pine. Some will be a little bit darker, some will be a little bit lighter, and that's the natural beauty about wood. So I'm not going to try to make this lighter. I'm good with that. So that's the best thing about this finish, is it's a bit organic. So you don't have to be perfect on every plank. And if you're doing this like on a tabletop, seriously there, you just want to go ahead and have some kind of striation, so you're going to take it across. So you'll have some dark and light spots on it, which is totally normal with regular wood if you were staining it. So you want to give it that kind of organic look. It doesn't have to be perfect and uniform and look like you bought it off a showroom. So you know, I'll get off that wordiness. So anyway, there's that. I'm going to continue doing this all the way down, and I'll show you the finished product here in just a bit. Our faux stained wood wall is now complete. We hope you enjoyed our tutorial as much as we enjoyed creating it for you. And as always, happy painting!